Hello everybody. I wanted to make a video review of Tannus tire armor to protect against punctures. So this is, I believe, from the manufacturer's website. You know, the premise is the premise of this product is it's a tire insert for a bicycle or e-bike. In my case, I purchased it for my e-bike, um, which is a 20 by 4 inches. It's a heavy e-bike and wide tires, 20-inch rim, 20-inch tire. And I had a few punctures, so I was looking for products that can prevent or decrease the number of flats, and I watched a lot of videos and a lot of good reviews about this product. So when you first get it, the upper part here is probably the most important part of the product. It gives you about 13 to 15 millimeter cushion. So if you were to get a puncture of a nail, screw, or whatever, it's got to first go through your outer tire, and it has additional 13 to 15 millimeter cushion, hopefully to prevent the nail or object from going through and puncturing into this inner tube, which is very thin most of the time and very vulnerable to any kind of sharp object, right? So this is the most important area. Very unlikely you'll have a sharp object coming through the sidewall. This sidewall protection, 2 to 5 millimeters, is mostly for guard against pinching. You run over a curb or object or a tree branch at a higher speed. I believe it does protect against the pinching puncture many people get. And you know, the depth of it is, you can see, obviously it's going to protect your inner tire from a smaller object, but anything bigger than what this describes, you're still susceptible. So my experience, when did I purchase it? I purchased it from Amazon. I live in Canada. December the 20th, 2024. Pretty much about a year ago. I had it in my e-bike about a year ago. Installed it about a year ago. It wasn't that easy to install, because when I installed it, you kind of got to pre-install Tannus Armour and your inner tube inside the bike tire, and inflate your inner tube a little bit so keep the shape, prevent any kind of pinching while you're pressuring the tire up. And it wasn't all that easy, but you know, it's definitely doable. And I had it for about a year, and I think I took it out about 6 months ago. Obviously, when you ride it, you're gonna have decompression. It's some sort of probably specialized styrofoam or some sort of it's definitely not styrofoam, some sort of patented, or some of their intellectual property, special foam they use to keep this shape as much as possible and give you protection. But it's kind of a soft material. It's not too soft, but it's soft enough that you can squish it. So in my experience, when I took it out about 6 months after I had a puncture, even with Tannus Armour on, you can see the decompression in progress, right? I had an armor with probably about an inch long, some sort of a metal object. I don't think it was a nail, but something sharper than a nail. It came right through, and the nail was past this point and was able to puncture the inner tube. So it didn't work that time, where the nail was too long, the object was too long for this to be effective. The reason I wanted to make this video was I commute with my e-bike as much as possible, and in about 18 months I've accumulated about 9,400 kilometers. My commute distance is about 30 kilometers every day. I also go for a leisurely bike ride, not as often as commuting obviously, but I ride my bike quite a bit. And 2 weeks ago I had another flat, fourth flat. So I had to, I made another video about it. I ended up installing a motorcycle tire, which is much, much thicker than any kind of OEM or a modified, heavier grade bicycle, e-bike tire. Motorcycle, it's actually for actual motorcycle or moped. It's much heavier, much thicker, and I'm hoping that would prevent me from getting another flat, but we'll see. So when I obviously uninstalled my tire, this is what the picture of what the Tannus Armour looked like after about a year. The sidewall, we know from this manufacturer's picture, it's supposed to be 2 to 5 millimeters thick, and this part, the thickest part of it, is supposed to be around 13 to 15 millimeters thick. We all know after a certain period this will start compressing and the thickness will decrease. To my surprise, the thickest part here is pretty much just as thin as the sidewalls, and this definitely does not look like it's 2 to 5 millimeters thick. Maybe 1 to 2, I would say about 2 millimeters thick, and over here it's a little bit thicker than the sidewall, but that's, again, it's only about 2 to 3, I would say, in my assumption, millimeters thick. I'll show you another picture. Again, it's still got the shape, but the thickest part here isn't that much thicker than the sidewall. A little bit thicker, maybe twice as thick. I think it's probably about 2 to 4 millimeters thick at best. And you can see the metal object that came right through. This could be 13, 15 millimeters thick in original shape, but that would have still come through. 13, 15 millimeters thick, I think that's the original thickness when it comes out of the box. And as you pump this tire, this is going to be compressed against the tire itself, and I believe it's going to decompress right away. I ran about 26 psi on it on a 33 psi maximum pressure tire, so it wasn't the highest pressure, but nobody can really tell how much decompression happens when you put 26 psi against the Tannus trapped inside the tire roll, right? It's probably not going to be 15 millimeters at this point. So but when I took it out after a year, this is now a permanent shape. Decompression is kind of permanent. I don't know if you leave it in the air without having it inside the tire, it will, not sure, it will go back to any kind of a thicker shape, but it doesn't really matter. When you pump your tire, I think this is the thickness you're going to maintain inside the tire. So kind of, 12 month, is it supposed to last 12 months or longer? But it's kind of disappointing because it wasn't cheap at all. I don't know what I paid at that point, but it's $90 plus whatever taxes and stuff. It's $100 product. I had it for both front and back, so it wasn't cheap at all, right? And after a year, this is what it looked like. So, it's pretty much just as thick as a tire. It isn't gonna do too much. protecting against any kind of metal object, right? Which is what I get. On all my flats on the rear tire. I don't have any flats on the front tire like most people. It's not a perfect product. I don't know of any perfect product, but this was kind of disappointing. Yeah, so I know from other YouTube videos and installation videos and whatever, a lot of people are happy with Tannus, but personally, I don't think it's worth $200, considering the fact that just after 12 months, it's pretty much got compressed to a very small thickness. I don't think it's gonna give me any kind of protection, because considering all of my punctures are from metal objects, nails, screws, and so on. So I don't think it's going to help me too much. That's why I took it off my bike. Just added weight, and it just causes tire installation, tube installation a little bit more difficult with that in there. So it wasn't worth for me to continue to use it. Hopefully you find some value in this video, and hope you find the product better for you. But that's all I got for today. Thanks for watching.